After 6 long years, India's Lipulekh Pass has reopened, and it is much more than the opening or reopening of border trade. It signals a cautious improvement in Indo-China bilateral relation, will help in resumption of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, and also will be helpful for the local communities in the border areas. Their economic improvement can be expected. Now, what is the geographical strategical significance of the reopening of this pass? Let us try to understand this in detail in this particular video. Now, to give you a background of this particular topic, as we can see that this is the Indo-Nepal and Tibet border. Lipulekh Pass, as you can see here, is very close to the Nepal, India and China border. Through Lipulekh Pass, people through the village of Uttarakhand can access the region of Tibet in China, and after the opening of this particular pass, it is believed that trade would resume after a hiatus of 6 long years. In terms of the town which this pass connects, that is a Pithoragarh in the region of Uttarakhand. This is also a high altitude pass in the Great Himalayas located at an altitude of 5,300 meters, Indo-Tibet border crossing. And it is not that this pass is a new pass or the movement has begun just recently. It has been a historical pass, and for centuries people have been using this for the purpose of trade and the cultural exchanges. Also, because of its vital strategic location, it is very important from the defense and security perspective as well. Now, the question is that why for 6 long years this pass was closed? To some extent, we can say the COVID-19 pandemic that began in year 2020 was responsible, as the countries began to curtail the movement of people, and also because to reduce the spread of the virus or possibility of a spread of virus, the trade exchanges were stopped. But at the same time, Galwan class that we see taking place between India and China along the line of actual control is the region that led to further deterioration in relation between India and China, and that is the major reason why the pass was closed for such long duration. The trade was suspended, pilgrimage was disrupted, even Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, where every year hundreds and hundreds of pilgrims from India go to Tibet in Mount Kailash, as it is considered as the abode of Lord Shiva. Plus, it is important from the Buddhism and Jainism perspective as well. But due to this Galwan classes, that pilgrimage journey or pilgrimage procedure also was disrupted for 5 long years, and because of the lack of trade activities, because of the cessation of the trade activities along the border, local community had to suffer economic losses. Many local traders who used to send goods from India to Tibet and bring goods from Tibet to India, because of the closure of this pass, they have to store these goods in the cold houses, warehouses, and because of 5-6 years it is possible they might have lost a lot of these goods due to the deterioration in their quality. Now, this pass is not only relevant and important in the contemporary time, it has its own historical importance. It is believed that in the older time, in the ancient time, it was the main route through which India can access Tibet or Tibetan people can access India. In the older time, the Shoka or Rung traders, as you can see from this particular photograph, they used to continuously access this pass, cross this pass, participate in the centuries old commerce as such. Not only that, the pass also was a way how cultural exchanges occurred between the high altitude mountains of Himalayas and the highest altitude plateau of world in the Tibet as such. However, the pass was used till 1962, but we know that in 1962 China launched a surprise war or attack against India. As a result of this, the pass was closed. Again, somewhere in 1991, after the betterment of relation between both countries, it was decided that the pass would reopen and border trade across Uttarakhand and Tibet would resume. Now, this pass is used as a traditional border trade. If you ask that what are the commodities which is being traded in such a high altitude mountains and Tibetan plateau, so answer is from Indian side, the local traders that you have from the Shoka trader, for example, they take rice, jaggery, tea and spices, which India is known for and which is difficult to grow in the harsh climate of Tibet. And then in Tibet, they go sell all these products. While coming back, they import the raw wool, they import borax and rock salt, medicinal herbs also, which is found in Tibetan plateau. Apart from that, textile and household goods have become a major commodity that is being traded in the last couple of decades before the pass was closed. Not only that, even the livestock trading we have seen being taking place across this particular region. So there you can say, based on this particular data, There are a large number of goods which is traded across the Lipulekh Pass between the Indian community and the Tibetan community, and the opening of this pass is going to definitely help them. Now, if you look at the economic benefits of the resumption of the ties, or resumption of, basically we can say, the decision to reopen the pass, so that is because of the revival of seasonal trade. We know that in the winter time the passes becomes closed or gets closed because of the heavy snowfall. So it is during the summer season is when most of the trade activity takes place. So those seasonal trade would be revived again. Border villages, to a large extent, these communities are depend upon the trading, they depend upon the selling and buying of goods, export and import of the goods and the commodities in the border areas. That definitely is going to help them. Transport is important. Now see, it is not only the people who are directly involved in the exchange of goods or services who will benefit. The large number of people who are dependent on these traders, such as transporters who has duty or job of carrying the commodities from one place to other place. You have the porters who also help in the same, and even local hotels and restaurants, because if people are coming for participating in the trade based activities, they need some places to stay, and that's why there is possibility for hotels and restaurants to use their services, to use the opportunity to earn some money as such. So overall, it is not only going to help the community that is involved directly in trade, but also other communities in the same area that are codependent and on this trading activities. So overall, it is going to definitely provide boost to the local Himalayan economy of the Pithoragarh and Uttarakhand region. Plus, at the same time, Government of India wants that no migration should take place from the border areas. People should be happy to remain and live in the border areas, because the frontier development is one of the stated task and goal of government from both security and economic perspective. A vibrant villages program we have launched. So to some extent, all these economic benefit would also translate into fulfillment of goal under the vibrant village program. Infrastructure development also we have seen taking place in last 6 years when the pass was closed. That is further expected to boost the amount of trade that used to take place between the Tibet and India. Recently, government has reopened Thaw, Dharchula and Lipulekh road, that has improved the connectivity in the high altitude areas of the pass. Custom infrastructure has been built which will allow easier access to people by taking permit, whatever is required. As such, better communication will be facilitated, and because now you have better road connectivity, it is expected that transport cost would be reduced, and if transport cost is reduced, definitely the profit margin would increase. That means traders would now have a better possibility of earning higher revenue, higher profit as such, and overall all of this going to be important for the efficient logistical operations as well. Now see, the opening of this pass should not be only seen from the narrow lens of economic and business development. It also has a diplomatic significance to some extent. We know that since the meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping in Kazan during the BRICS summit of Russia, confidence building measures ensued. We have seen the visit of high level delegations or delegates from India, and then similarly delegates from China have come to India. So it has overall led to improvement in the India-China engagement after the Galwan clashes, where the relationship kept on tanking. Line of actual control disengagement was also recorded when the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met the Chinese Foreign Minister in China itself, in the Beijing itself. Political dialogue resumed, and to some extent we are seeing a selective cooperation also reflected in the decision taken by China to resume the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, and also the direct flights between both countries, which were not taking place since 2020, it has been resumed last year itself. So to some extent, all of these are pointing toward diplomatic outreach between both India and China, where both countries are trying to focus on overall increasing cooperation in the broader areas pending the dispute in the border regions as such. In this case, when the Chinese Foreign Minister visited India, he also stated that India and China should stop seeing each other as rivals, rather they should see each other as partners, and that's what this particular decision also reflects toward. Now this pass also has a strategic importance because it is one of the 3 border points between India and China. Overall, it strengthens border connectivity, supports border management as well. Plus, it also provides a strategic Himalayan access. Not only that, apart from frontier development, it also provides opportunity for controlled engagement along the border areas. Now, Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, which is one of the major pilgrimage journey undertaken by hundreds of pilgrims from India, they can access Lake Mansarovar through the Lipulekh Pass. This is very important because it is sacred to Hindus, Buddhists, Jains and the local born people living in the mountainous area. So, to some extent the reopening of pass would also help in boosting the religious tourism between India and China. Thus, local income opportunities again of the people is expected to increase as tourists would take their services. Now, here the important point to keep in mind is that there is a kind of dispute brewing up between India and Nepal related to the Lipulekh, because Nepal stated that starting from Limpiadhura Pass that you have in the northern side all the way up to Kali River and going up to Lipulekh Pass, as you can see, this entire area is claimed by Nepal as its own sovereign territory as such. This they based on the Treaty of Sugauli that was signed during the British time. While India has said that India has administrative claim over this, the source of Kali River mentioned in the document is different than what is the source of Kali River now, and especially after government of India began to construct roads in this area, when began to link it to the Lipulekh Pass to the roadways area, that's when Nepal published this map showing this entire region belonging to the Nepalese territory as well. So Nepal keep on protesting, they keep on talking about this and at political level also. So this issue also seems to be unresolved. That is one of the challenges we are going to face, that Nepal is such a close ally. How would you navigate the border issue that has cropped up? Now, boundary dispute, as we have discussed, is going to be major challenges. Strategic mistrust between India and China, though no matter whatever steps we have taken to improve the relation between India and China, there is no denying the fact that the border issue remains unresolved. There is a large extent of mistrust between both countries because of the shadow of 1962 war and continuous transgressions or attempt of transgression by the Chinese military People's Liberation Army of China along the line of actual control. Seasonal trade is expected to get a boost, but again we can understand that due to the heavy snowfall, the pass cannot be used all the year. Terrain is very harsh, weather disruption is expected, and because of all the geographical, historical and geopolitical realities, we can say that trade volume, we would not expect it to rise manifold. There will be a trade, but these trade will be in limited volume. In conclusion, we can say that the reopening of Lipulekh should be viewed as a practical confidence building measure. There is no doubt about that. Then the evidence of fundamental transformation in India-China relation, because the bilateral relation between India and China again is marred by the shadow of the war in 1962, the capture of Aksai Chin by China in 1962, and continuous attempt to shift and change the border by adopting the policy of salami slicing along the line of actual control, and also Chinese claim of Arunachal as its entire as its sovereign territory. So all these realities are going to make it difficult for both countries to become very close to each other or become a partner or allies itself. That's all for this particular video. Thank you very much.